Hi guys, welcome back. I haven't posted a video in a while. I've kind of been on a little hiatus, if you will. This past week I was dealing with going home. My younger brother had a pretty extensive surgery and that took up 100% of my time. Thankfully, I had family members help watch my boys while I went home, and I was able to go home because I got a job. I guess I should throw that in there. Finally, after like almost 2 months looking since we moved here to Louisiana, and she was so sweet and considerate and had empathy for me and allowed me to go home even though I just got the job. Anyways, I know I hate when I watch YouTube videos and it takes like 5 minutes to get to what the video is. So here we go. Tonight's video is going to be about being a military family, whether you're the active duty person, you're the wife, dependent, whatever you have to call it, or you're the kids, or you're the parent, the guilt that you feel about going home. Because every time I go home by myself with my kids, or my husband goes home with us, we feel the guilt when we leave. Or even when we haven't gone home, when are you coming home? Are you going to be able to make it to this and that? And it kind of feels like a one-way street, like you're going down a one-way, when in reality it's a two-way street. It's not just us as a military family, it's my husband's family, my family, friends, because whether people you grow up with or not, or you've met during this journey, like to admit, you stop seeing each other because it stops being convenient. And I'm gonna be a little respectful when I make this because obviously my family's gonna see it, my husband's family's gonna see it. Maybe they don't. My family probably doesn't even watch my YouTube video, and that's fine. But this video is going to be 100% respectful. It's just because I want to make it so like people can see from our perspective. And I've had friends message me about it, and we've talked about it because I posted on Instagram that I was feeling the coming back home guilt, because I was thinking today, this is the first base we have been at as a family. I don't want to say we're stationed at. My husband's stationed here and we live with him. I'm one of those, so I don't say we if I can help it. Anyways, this is the first base that we've lived together as a family that I do refer to as home. Like when I went home for my brother's surgery, I was ready to go back home. And it wasn't until I got back here to Louisiana I started thinking about that. Like, I am calling it home. When we were stationed overseas, I'd say we have to go back to Guam. When we lived in New Mexico, I would say we have to get back to Canada. And I never said I'm ready to go home or anything. So, like, that felt good. But then I started feeling guilty because my home state, I'm leaving it and my family, and I was coming here. And then I started feeling guilty about leaving my family and the boys not being able to see my family or my husband's family. But then I was like, why? Why do I have to feel guilty? Because this is my home now. And it feels like home. And I eventually have to come back here. I can't stay back and visit 24/7, 365 days a year anymore. Because it's not my home anymore. My husband feels it a lot more. He may not say it to me or act like it, but I know he feels the guilt probably a little bit more because he doesn't get to go as often as I do, obviously with his job. And when we take family vacations, it's to go home. We actually don't go on family vacations to like other countries or other states. It's normally to go home to Florida. So he kind of feels guilty about that because it would be good if we could, go visit Colorado or go to California or to New York, or, go see some of the friends he met during his deployments or TDYs, because he did make a few new friends and they leave few states away, so I know the service member, the active duty member, whatever you want to call it, they feel a little bit more guilt because as a spouse, it's a little bit easier for us to take off from work, say, hey, can I have this weekend or next week? The military isn't as understanding, and taking leave is harder, understandably. And expenses wise, if I were to, I know how much we paid going home from Guam. That was about $4,000. At the time, we just had our oldest son. So that was round trip tickets from Guam to Florida, Fort Walton Beach. And it was about $4,000. Thankfully, we were able to pay it with our credit card at the time and then pay it off with taxes. But then that felt very overwhelming to us because that's money that we could have invested paying off debt, which it was paid off, so technically it's not debt, but we could have put it towards like car payments or put it in savings. Instead, we had to use it because we did want to go home, and our son was 4 months old and nobody had met him yet. Nobody was able to come for his birth. So that's one side of it. I don't think families notice. And then if I add in the expenses of us going home from New Mexico and then already driving home from Louisiana, as a family, we've driven home once, but altogether I've driven home twice now in 2 months being stationed here. So it adds up, and then it kind of hurts a little bit when it's not returned, and it becomes like that one-way street again instead of two. We just keep going down it, and then nobody's coming down the other side. And this is when the guilt starts to set in because you understand not everybody can travel, not everybody can afford it. It's not the best timing, and then there's so many different aspects, and you start feeling guilty, but then you remember, I have traveled, I have spent money, I have made arrangements and changed my schedule. And this isn't like a all the time thing. I'm not saying that like family never visits. That's not saying me, but like any military family in general. I'm not saying your family doesn't visit you 24/7, but these are some feelings that we all feel in this lifestyle because it's always, when are you coming home? Are you going to be able to make it to this event or that event? And it's like, are you going to be able to come to my event? Are you going to be able to come visit me for Christmas? And I don't think people understand that. And I hope this video doesn't come off as me being angry, because I'm not. I mean, I understand. It's just I was thinking about it, and my mom was a little upset that I was leaving because my brother had just had surgery, and it's pretty rough recovery. He had his jaw broken to be shifted forward because at birth it didn't really form the correct way, so his air passage is a lot smaller in his esophagus, so it's harder to breathe, and just other stuff in general. So that was hard to leave, but then I also have to remember that I have my own life. I do have a job, I do have kids. They need to get back in their routine. I do have a husband that's here and wasn't able to go home with me, and I was missing him. I have dogs, I have my own house. So the guilt kind of sets in, but then it's also like, I have a home here too. It's always open, and I know a lot of my friends feel, and some of you watching this might feel the very same way. And it's hard to say anything or talk about it with your family because you don't want to upset them. But it's kind of like, maybe it's a good thing to talk about it. And I slowly remind, hey, we can't do this, or maybe next time, or how about, my thing I say is my guest room is always open, kind of just nonchalantly easing that in, because you don't want to add tension or feud without wanting to, because that's not your intention. This is just a video to explain, some of the things we feel as a military family. We've all gotten that, hey, let me know when you're in town message from a distant relative or a friend from high school, and then you're in town and you're, hey, I'm here, I just drove, 2,000 miles, or I just flew 24 hours. And then they're like, hey, can you drive 20 minutes? And you're like, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that, because you finally are like, I've traveled this far, you can't drive a few miles to see me. And that's kind of when you see like the friends that are gonna be there for you, and the family members that really want to see you, especially if you have children. So just learn different things. And this is for the military families. If you're watching this, you don't have to feel guilty. I'm learning this myself, because I always was stressing myself out about making it home and doing everything my family and my husband's family wanted us to do, and kind of speaking for my husband. Well, he wanted to be here, but X, Y, Z, and just kind of making sure they were happy. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, I want to be happy too, and I want to stop stressing about that part of my life. If there's one thing that I can like de-stress, this is one thing I'm going to start with. And it feels good to make this video. I know I was talking with a friend earlier, and she kind of felt the same way. And especially when you live overseas and you love it, it's awesome, and you're having the time of your life, and your family's loving it, but then you're not seeing family, and they're not seeing you, and you're feeling guilty, but then they're also not coming to see you. And I know for us, I want to go and live overseas again, and my husband desperately does. I know it would be good for his career, and we just really enjoyed being overseas. And I think it would be good for our kids to like see different cultures and travel. And we're gonna stop worrying about it. If we want to go live, we're gonna go live. We're still gonna make time to see our families, but it would be good, to feel like they want to come see us too. Or maybe plan, set money aside, schedule to have so many days to come see us, and kind of work. So I hope this is just not a video of me rambling, and kind of made sense, because after like the last 6 years of like constantly like getting the phone call, when are you coming home, or are you gonna be here? I'm like, man, you know what? I'm exhausted, and like I just want to enjoy my life with my family and my spouse. That right now I can see him, but his rotation's gonna come up, and he's gonna be gone again, and there's gonna be months when I don't have him with me, so, and my kids don't have him. So we're just enjoying our time here at Barksdale Air Force Base, and it's home for now. So I hope you guys watching this, it touched upon your feelings. I'm sure it did. Or maybe you can send this to a family member. And please stress this. It is not meant to be rude, disrespectful. It's just kind of how we feel. And sometimes we can't change life or our schedules as easy as other families can. So yeah, I just wanted to put some feelings out there. And I'm sorry if I'm being quiet and you can't hear me, because my kids are sleeping in my office, and it's late, and I'm gonna go to bed after I finish this. But hopefully this will be up tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a great day, because I'm hoping this is posted during the day and not late like my last video. Till next time, stay happy.